Welcome back for day 5 of our Lent readings for 2025 on the Psalms. And we're going to move one psalm on from where we left off at the end of last week as we begin this week with Psalm 15. Just 5 short verses. Let's read them together. Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? The one whose way of life is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart, whose tongue utters no slander, who does no wrong to a neighbour, and casts no slur on others, who despises a vile person, but honours those who fear the Lord, who keeps an oath even when it hurts, and does not change their mind, who lends money to the poor without interest, who does not accept a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. The starting question about what kinds of attribute a person needs to dwell with God is followed by an answer that links belief and morality together. Those who fear the Lord, but also who live blameless lives. It then goes on to tie together honouring God and our duty to our neighbour, therefore anticipating the summary that Jesus would give when questioned about which of the commandments was the greatest. In Matthew 22 he replies, to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind, and to love your neighbour as yourself. The good news of the gospel is that it is by the sacrifice of Jesus only that we can draw near to God. But continuing in fellowship, closeness to God, and growing spiritually, that requires developing a holy life. You might read these qualities and conclude that you are not good enough to ever achieve this. But this psalm talks about qualities that God creates in a person, not what he finds in a person. God does not look for holy people and then draw them near. The kingdom would be so much smaller, even to the point of non-existence if he did. Instead, he draws normal, unholy people to himself and makes them holy. As we walk the path of discipleship with Jesus, our tendency to slander or gossip diminishes. The temptation to take advantage of others wanes. The desire to join in with the activities of the godless fades. Possibly the biggest challenge for many of us is in the second half of verse 4, which is put in the New Living Translation as, and keeps a promise even when it hurts. How many times have we promised to pray for someone but forgotten? Or arranged to meet with someone but then had to cancel? This verse should challenge us in 2 ways. Firstly, that we should not be too rash in making a promise we are unlikely to keep. And secondly, that when we do make a promise to someone, we should make a serious attempt to honour it by moving it up our priority list. None of us wants a reputation of unreliability. The psalm ends by saying that anyone who does these things will not be shaken. They will be secure in the Lord's presence. C.S. Lewis wrote in his book The Great Divorce that throughout our lives we're either growing closer to God or further from him. It's almost impossible to remain stationary for any length of time. That is something to pause and reflect on today. Where am I spiritually compared with at the end of 2024? Or maybe with this time last year? What is God doing in my life at the moment? If I were to give a testimony of what God has done in my life today, would I only be able to draw on things that God did in the past? Or are there things to share about what God is doing in the present? As we reflect on this psalm, let's pray that God would draw us closer to him over this time of Lent. Until next time, have a blessed day.